This show is sponsored by Sims Business Systems, Arizona's #1 family-owned technology boutique, serving your copy, print, IT, and teleconferencing needs since 1978. Smartify your business with Sims.
Welcome to Exposing Entrepreneur Secrets. I'm Shawn Sims Bradford, your host, and this is the show where we uncover the secrets to business owners' successes, and we get to know the inside secrets, their minds, their hearts, and their souls. I am beyond fascinated to learn today about Steve Sunshine. Welcome. Steve is the inventor. I'm so thrilled to have an inventor on the show of Shower Clear. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You took an idea and you brought it to life. When did you first realize that you had this uncanny ability to bring your ideas to life?
Well, I was always fixing things as a child, and nobody knew where I came from, including my parents, because they knew how to fix nothing.
Oh.
So I was kind of unique in that respect. But we can kind of fast forward to when my mom got ill.
So your mom got ill, and how did that spark you creating Shower Clear?
Well, we went to top New York doctors, and she was a previous cancer patient, cancer survivor from the time she was 68. Yeah. When she became 82, after all her treatment for breast cancer, which was your typical chemo, radiation, and follow-up with tamoxifen, all of those things compromise your immune system. So now at 82, after she was cancer-free, she was having reoccurring symptoms. And those symptoms included heavy coughing and irritations of the skin that led to bleeding. We went to major New York top doctors, everybody from allergists to cancer doctors.
Yes.
And they thought that it could be an allergy to the black dye in her T-shirts. They thought it could be allergy to food, to seafood. Then they thought it could be anything all the way up to lymphoma of the skin.
Oh.
And lymphoma of the skin is very hard to diagnose. But one very smart doctor said to me, go home and check her shower head. Take it off and put a Q-tip in the back. Because if it comes up black, chances are that shower head is filled with multiples of bacteria.
Oh, my goodness.
Including the NTM bacteria, which
What
I
is
said,
that?
what is that? I didn't know what it was either. I don't have a medical training. I only have an automotive training.
Yes.
I fix things that most people don't know are broken.
Right.
That's really what I do. But anyway, so NTM is non-tuberculous mycobacteria. It comes from the water system, but it can accumulate and be dispersed in your shower head through a hot, steamy shower. You can be breathing it in, damaging your lungs. And I was devastated to find out anything like this even existed. So who gets affected by it? People with compromised immune systems, like my mom.
Okay.
But we can go to all the dark sides of cancer and major diseases that we all know that compromise your immune system. But the reality is that your immune system can be compromised if you're merely taking an arthritis drug that's commonly prescribed, or a cholesterol drug that's commonly prescribed. So this is more mass than we know.
Interesting.
In 1981, the Annals of Internal Medicine, which is a medical journal that the average person wouldn't read,
No.
they did a study, and the study showed that they populated the Legionella bacteria in hospital shower heads in Chicago.
Mm.
They tried to eliminate that bacteria by using a substance called ethylene oxide. I didn't know what it was.
Right.
But when you looked it up, it said poison, death, and poison again. It's horrible stuff. And after they washed out the shower heads, they found out that the Legionella bacteria came back. So now the industry has known about this problem since 1981, almost 40 years, and done nothing. Until me.
And so, okay, so I'm trying to picture this day. You find out that your mother is suffering from the bacteria in the shower, and you know that you need to do something. What happens next where you actually start creating? Where did this idea spark from? How did you know that you were going to make Shower Clear?
That's a great question. And what happened was I Googled all over the internet to find a shower head that the consumer can clean, and there was no such thing.
Okay.
And when I found out that there wasn't anything, and I started to read up on all of these different diseases and bacteria and mold and fungus and all these bacteria that can form in shower heads, I was horrified. I lived in a house that had 7 bathrooms. I looked at my own shower heads, and they looked not so great either.
Yeah.
So I was in my shop because I work on important sports cars of the 1950s and 1960s. That's what I do.
Okay.
So
I know I have a picture of you right here, and it's a super. I mean, this is you with this really, I'm going to say, badass-looking car.
Yes.
What is this?
That is a 1965 Shelby 427 Competition Cobra.
And I don't know much about cars, but it's beautiful.
Thank you. It was quite a car, and it was part of my racing heritage.
Okay.
So when I was working on that car, and it was in my garage, and I looked at the gas cap on that car. Well, that gas cap is a quick release gas cap. I happen to have one here. I know the audience can't see it, but you can see how easy it flips open.
Can I try it?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm literally holding what, it's metal, it's silver, and the top just flips right on up.
So that was my inspiration, and I said to myself, well, if the gas cap can flip open and close quickly, then there must be a way of using this same basic 1950s technology in making a shower head. So what I did was, obviously, you don't want to see a gas cap hanging from your shower. So
True.
We went with major designers and major CAD designers to make Shower Clear into something that you'd want to see in your home.
Yes.
With the exact same latching mechanism. It's made of
It's heavy.
3.5 pounds of solid brass, so the chances of this lasting forever are pretty good.
Yeah, and it's quite beautiful, if I might say so. And I can see the similarity between the 1950s gas cap and this, but of course this looks much more elegant.
Yes.
Much more sophisticated, and it's attractive looking.
Yes.
Ah.
And see, the one thing people don't and fail to realize is that you cannot clean a shower head. There have been many, many segments on TV where they say you can take down your shower head, you can dunk it in bleach. Well, bleach is poison.
Right.
And then if you put it back up and you start breathing in some of the bleach,
Right.
that's not so great.
No.
Just recently, in Consumer Reports just published in March how to clean your shower head. And they said take it off and dunk it in vinegar. Well, vinegar is certainly better than bleach, but here's the problem. You cannot see inside the shower head.
Exactly, because none of them open except for yours.
Exactly. So you don't know if you're really getting it clean or not. And even if you did, can you tell me what day it gets dirty again?
Yeah, that's a good
can't.
point. Mm-hmm.
So even if they say do it once a month, I think most of us out here in Arizona have forced air conditioners.
Yes.
And forced air heating systems. They tell you to change your filters in those systems once every 3 months. How many times do you maybe not do it that often? And when you do it, you find out that filter was really dirty.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Right. Yeah. So the same thing with the shower head. Shower heads don't come with an expiration date. They don't come with a little gauge attached to them to say, I'm filled up with bacteria, throw me away. Get me a new one.
Yeah, and that's where yours, you can open it up and you can clean it pretty much on a daily basis.
Well, the easiest thing to do is we open them and suggest people open them after every shower.
Okay.
So this way, when the air gets to the bacteria cannot form. Very much like a sink faucet. A sink faucet is pointing down, it's always open. A shower head is literally a petri dish because it has all the wrong ingredients.
Yeah, of course.
It's dark, it's damp, it never dries out, And most of the internals are made of plastic to give you those fancy shower patterns that people seek after.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and we don't think about it from a health standpoint. Now, I want to get into how people can get these, and I also want to get into all the really cool places you've been at, like the Today Show, Oprah, you've been in her magazine, you've been in Gwyneth Paltrow's magazine. But I want to take it back for a moment to our listeners. For people that are kind of in the ditches right now of trying to bring something to life, surely you had a challenge or two when you were trying to bring your creation to life. Would you mind sharing one or two with us?
Yes. I think the basic nature of people that you talk to, when you bring an idea to a friend, to a family member, to some of your gang that you know,
your network.
Your network. They're all going to look at you with half an eye. And the reason they're going to do that is because most people, as I've experienced, I'm going to be 64 years old. I hope I look a little younger.
You look quite a bit younger than that.
Good.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that.
Well, most people don't wish you well. Is that shocking?
It is shocking, actually.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because they don't want to see you do better than them.
Oh.
They don't want to see you succeed, because if you succeed, you leave them in the dirt.
Yeah, you know what? I think you do have a point, but I bet were there some people that were really supporting you?
Yes.
Okay.
There was
one.
one.
I like this. There was one. I like it. It just takes one.
My wife.
Oh, okay.
She was the most supportive of this because, see, I'm all self-funded. Shower Clear is all self-funded. I did this all myself.
Which is amazing. I mean, it's completely yours.
Yes.
So you had the support of your wife, but not of too many other people. And when you obviously probably took this to a patent lawyer, I would think.
Yes.
You had to take it to people to create the design and then to production.
Yes.
That couldn't have been easy.
No, and it was very expensive.
Okay.
And it was more expensive than I thought it would be because, you see, as you see the gas cap, you would think it's a pretty simple design.
I would think.
But the gas cap only has to hold gas from splashing against it. The shower head has to hold 100 psi of water from squirting out the sides. Not an easy task. Those shower heads are all hand finished, so they don't leak.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
it was not as easy as we thought. It took 3 years to create what you see there.
So that, you gave me shivers because it's like you have this amazing idea. You have this personal story behind it. You have this passion. And 3 years is a long time to go from an idea to physically being able to see it and market it. So how did you keep your head up during those 3 years?
Because, you see, life is about taking punches.
Yeah.
And we all like Rocky movies.
We do. Yes,
and
we do.
Rocky once said, and I have to go back to that because it's something that I live by, it doesn't matter how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Moving forward.
And it really is about moving forward. And I just keep moving forward. And I had to take a lot of hits to do that.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Okay.
When I grew up as a kid, my father lost all his money, and I worked part-time in a gas station, pumping gas. I just knew you had to do what you had to do when you had to do it. That's all I knew. My first job in the real world was very interesting because I've only had 2 real jobs. Other than that, I've always worked for myself as an entrepreneur. I've always had my own business.
Yes.
But my first job was particularly interesting because this was one sharp guy.
Yeah.
And I was working there, and this was a garment-related company in New York City.
Okay.
A wholesale business. And I thought I was doing great. I was there for 6 months. I came in early. I was there an hour early. I stayed after. I put in crazy amount of hours because I knew I wanted to succeed. Success and failure was never an option.
Yeah.
Success was what I sought after.
Yeah.
So one day I walked into his office after 6 months, and I said to him, Jack, I've been here 6 months. I've been really getting the job done. I think I deserve a raise. He said, great. When you're sure, come back and ask me for one.
Oh, I love that. What a great lesson.
That was a lesson I will never forget. That was 1973.
Oh, I love that. I think I deserve a raise. So
Right.
then the next time you approached him about a raise, how did you phrase it?
Well, I felt so silly because when people give you your words back and you listen to them,
Yeah.
you start to think differently and say, oh my God, what did I do? I messed up. So it took me a day or two to really figure out how I was going to approach him again because I had my tail between my legs.
Yes.
He was good at putting it there. And I came back and I said to him, Jack, you know something? I've been really working hard here. I deserve a raise. He said, you're right. I'm going to give you one.
Oh, I like the confidence and the conviction behind it.
It was all what it's about. And in business and in being an entrepreneur, you have to be convicted. You have to have that conviction.
You do. And you have to believe in yourself, and you have to, because like you said, when everybody else is like, I don't know about this idea, you have to stand firm in the belief of your idea, your vision, and yourself, and trust yourself.
Absolutely. It's very, very important.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so then it took 3 years, and you finally have a product to start selling. And, when I'm exploring your website, I'm incredibly impressed because, like I said, you sell through Gwyneth Paltrow's site, which is called Goop, right? Goop?
Yes.
Oprah Magazine, This Old House Top 100 Best New Home Products. I mean, I can keep going on and on. The Today Show, Men's Health.
Yes.
So how did this all happen? I mean, that's every inventor's dream, to be on all these platforms.
Well, I did have a publicist that I paid, to help get me some of the publicity that I achieved.
Good.
A lot of it was on my own as well.
Yeah.
I just don't take no for an answer. So, I just keep pounding and going and going and going and going. So, you get to the right people through networks, through people and you get people to introduce you to other people that find you exciting. If you're a boring person, you got to have a personality. No matter what you do, you have to have a personality.
So I want to ask you something. Did you find once you had actually developed the product and you were really standing very strong in your belief of it, did you have more of your network supporting it then?
Yes, because most people said, I can't believe I didn't think of that myself. Especially my peers. My peers in the auto industry said, oh my God, it's so simple. Why didn't I think of that? And they all think it's genius. And
it is genius.
There's a quote that I keep on the back of my business card.
Yes.
And the quote is from Albert Einstein. And it was kind of interesting, and I related to it, so I picked it up as a mantra. And it says, any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. And that's really what I did with Shower Clear.
You did. And again, I'm getting those shivers again because in its simplicity, really, it's beautiful handcrafted finish, but it's a simple design that keeps you healthy when you're taking a shower, and that's where the genius lies in this simple design. Is that what else does that quote mean to you?
Well, that's really exactly what it means, because I look at when I go into the stores and I see today's shower heads, they're making these very complicated mechanisms that give you different spray patterns. There are some that give you aromatherapy. We don't know what's in that aromatherapy. We don't know if it's good or bad. The jury is out there. But, I can't get into that. I'm not a scientist either. But I do know that if you keep it simple, like I did,
yes,
rather than complicated, would you rather have a choice of shower patterns or have one great shower pattern? Because after you buy that great shower head that has 20 different patterns, you pick one.
Right.
Why don't I just give you the one you like?
Exactly.
That's what I did.
So I want to stay on that topic for a moment. I wrote the word simple down because I think sometimes you're right, we try to get so complex and fancy away from our mission and our vision and our belief and our truth that we do complicate things that don't need to be complicated. So to other inventors, other entrepreneurs listening right now, what is your advice to them for how to just keep it simple and truthful?
Well, really, it's just to follow the path.
Mm-hmm.
Your first vision is your best vision.
Oh, I like that.
And you really, don't go crazy trying to beat yourself up. Don't wake up, look in the mirror in the morning and say, no, I got to change what I thought yesterday. Stick with your first. Your first is usually your best.
I love that for every aspect of life. Your first vision is your best vision. And to really, because you stay true to that vision. For 3 years, you just kept on that path of bringing this to life and you really didn't deviate.
No.
I mean, you stayed. So I realize we kind of danced around it, but that's a really big question for anybody that is trying to bring their idea, their business, their invention, their belief, themselves really to life. How did you stay motivated to stay true to that?
Well, I wake up in the morning, and every morning I get out of bed and I do 50 push-ups.
Active.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get the blood moving.
Yes.
Once the blood gets moving, the brain follows.
Yes.
And I think that, staying in good physical shape and good mental shape go hand in hand.
Yes.
If you're not healthy, your mind isn't healthy, your business isn't healthy, so many other things. So I'm a big fan of staying healthy. And the older I get, the harder it becomes, but I just keep doing it.
And that makes sense because you're very vibrant, you're very youthful. And that makes sense that you're starting every morning with physical activity because it shows on all parts of you.
Yes.
And it gets, just like you said, it gets the blood flowing, the energy moving, that creativity sparking. And I really like that feedback and that suggestion. And you also keep it simple with push-ups, something you can just do on your own right there when you jump out of bed.
Right. You don't have to go to a gym to do it. The floor is right next to you.
That's perfect. Okay, now I have to know, of course we all want to do something as amazing as be on the Today Show. What was that experience like?
Well, actually, it wasn't actually me. It was the product.
It was the product.
The product was on the Today.
Product was on the Today Show.
Oh, it was great. And my publicist had a way of getting in to get it there. Yeah. And, all I can say is knowing the right people or getting to the right people is integral to your success.
Okay.
So you have to learn how to network. And networking with great people is not difficult. It's just another task. It's just another thing to accomplish.
Okay.
With a great personality, a good smile, and a very persistent attitude, along with a good product that impresses people, it's not really that difficult. It's just like when I was young, it's the pretty girl at the dance. You're afraid to talk to her because you may get rejected. Well, networking is the same thing, really. Okay. It's the pretty girl that you don't want to get. Nobody wants rejection. People hate rejection.
Yes.
But the thing is, you have to be okay in your own business with being rejected because chances are you're going to get rejected a lot. And you have to deal with rejection. You have to eat rejection for breakfast. You have to make like it doesn't exist. It's fine. It's great. You want to tell me I'm no good? Okay, fine. I don't need you. That's great. No problem. On to the next.
Just say you're going to go on to the next. So that sounds like another piece of advice for people that are just starting out or have a product to sell is they must network. Or do you do networking events? Or are you just constantly chatting with people like in the grocery store? Like what? Is it just a way of life for you now?
It is a way of life. I could be sitting at a counter having dinner. I could be in a grocery store. I could be anywhere where somebody's talking to me. And, I may bring up a silly question like, did you shower today? Now, everybody's going to say yes. And
chuckle a little.
Right. And they're going to say, well, why'd you ask? I'll say, well, did you look up at your shower head? And they'll go, well, no. And then, I might pull out of my bag something that looks
Oh, geez. I'm
like
looking at the
this.
at the grossest, moldiest shower head right now. That's terrifying. We all need to look at our shower heads as soon as we get back into our bathrooms.
Yes. And, I'll do all of that. And I'll talk about what I do because I'm always excited about what I do because, you see, what I'm doing is saving lives. Now, I'm an animal lover. I'm an animal lover. I've saved many animals' lives. I've pulled kittens out of Fashion Square, taken them to shelters because I found them on the side of the road. I believe in helping people.
Yes.
And when my mom got sick, that was the first person I wanted to help.
Yes.
That's how Shower Clear came about. Because you see, a lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs do start a business thinking money first.
Yes.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We all want to make money. It's a great thing.
We need to make money.
Yes. But if you follow your passion and you follow your love,
Yes.
if you start with something you love first, and in this case, I love my mother, I wanted to help her.
Yes.
So it was love first, money second.
Yes.
Everything else fell into place.
Yeah.
It had no alternative. Failure was no alternative. It was not going to happen.
So follow the path of love, put that passion for what you're doing first, and just keep moving forward. Sounds like you're really secret to success for how Shower Clear came to be.
Well, if you hate what you do, you can't succeed.
No, that is very true. So you have to love what you're doing.
You have to love what you do, regardless. If you're working for somebody, if you're selling a product, if you're being entrepreneurial, if you're developing a product, whatever it is you do, if you don't love it, you're not going to want to get out of bed and do those 50 push-ups every morning.
Oh, I like that. I like it. Now, people that are listening that are thinking, I absolutely must have Shower Clear, how can they find your product, Steve?
Well, we have a website. It's under shopshowerclear.com.
Shopshowerclear.com.
Yes, and we are also using Goop, Gwyneth Paltrow's website, as our now exclusive retailer. We're also soon to be on Amazon. I know that there's another company that just picked us up that wants to put us on Amazon. That's soon to happen.
Very nice. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
We're also featured in some hospitals.
Okay.
NYU Hospital has our shower head. We're soon to be in Bellevue Hospital in New York City.
Very cool.
We're working on hospitals here in Arizona. The problem with hospitals is that most of them use handheld shower heads.
Yes.
And that's a whole different story that we can't get into today. It's way too technical and too long.
Okay. Before we let you go, what is something that you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I would like to leave them with the fact that you can succeed at doing anything you put your mind to as long as you don't talk yourself out of it. Very important. People will help you talk yourself out of your dream. Stick with your dream. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. It's yours.
Stick with your dream. It is yours. Steve Sunshine, I love it. Shower Clear, shopshowerclear.com. Thank you so very much for being on Exposing Entrepreneur Secrets. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.